the board, y'all. I promise you. If they not putting people in housing like they supposed to be doing, then what are they doing with the money? Hello, HUD, OIG, DOJ. If they're not coming through, which you need, I'm not going to keep running through here on the purposes of the Edward Byrne program, because I think we going way over time now. If they are not acting within the federal federal initiatives or the congressional declaration, if they're not acting within the wording of the congressional declaration, which that funding is meant for, they are committing fraud, waste, and abuse. Do I got to keep going over that, y'all, or is there a simpler way to put it? Should we go through more of the fundings? Or are we good here? Funding coming from the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Are they I mean, if they're doing some shit with the banks, OIG. If they're doing something with the housing, Federal Housing Finance Agency, it's got to be a program. That's a program. Find the statute connected to the program. All right, 23 USC is connected to their highway shit. I'm covering roads for y'all. 42, this is housing. All right, 42, 5301, 1437, that's housing. That's the police. We already covered the schools. The schools is the local educational agency. Hold on. It's the, here. If I could get that down. 26 USC. Oops, is that it? No. 20 is education. 6333. All right, that's that basic grants to local educational agencies, where we was just reading where they had a war on poverty, so they had to put all this stuff together so that they can get all this money to the states for all these broke ass kids they gotta do for. It's an allocation. All right. Now, if you got your kid at home and the school is telling you months later that your kid's supposed to be in school, then what the fuck are they reporting to the Fed? Are they reporting to the Fed that your child is still enrolled? This is one of those direct fundings again. We went inside the ACFRs for the schools. The schools are getting grants under the local educational agency grants, which is 20 USC. It's right here. Local educational agencies. That's why I'm calling them that. That's what they all are. Every single school. All right. If your kid's not going to the school and you're still getting notifications, and they likely still have them enrolled, that's fraud, waste, and abuse, because they're counting up money. We just showed they're counting by head. If that head ain't in the school, right, they'll harass you and shit. They'll try to harass you and shit. You know what I'm saying? But do they really have it right? When my baby sitting there is getting you the cash, no, they don't. So I'm gonna go talk to the United States. If I can't get them to leave me alone locally, we gotta let them know up front. That's due process. If we can't get them to leave us alone locally, fine. I'm going to the Department of Education's OIG. You're trying to come take my shit through a mortgage. I'm coming through the HUD OIG, FHA OIG, depending on whose name is in the mortgage. Why? Because the HUD 270111 is insurance on the house. They are cashing the insurance in, y'all. But of course, the mortgages are a little touchy regarding false claims, which is what we should probably get into now. Listen, please Give me some feedback. Is anybody catching on? Am I talking to myself?
No, we're here. We're catching on.
Did I say too much?
No, I thought you explained everything fine and thorough.
Okay. So should we move on?
Yep.
All right. So we need to tie the act to the funding directly on the ACFR reports and show how they are misusing. Sorry. Yes. Show how they're misusing the funds connected. Yeah, 401. My bad. 401 is the purposes. I think that 401 was but 402 shows you the funding, the money. All right. So yeah, just connect them, and then you know who to talk to. Let's go get the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna go over this document. I promise. We did this shit in the last class. And I just want to go through page 1. This is how we use this information. Now, let's just read here. We talking fraud, waste, and abuse. The OIGs is how you report it to the government. Okay, because we've been reporting a lot of shit to the government regarding fraud, waste, and abuse, but we ain't talking to the right part. Even though we are informing motherfuckers and they are letting us know that they're involved or some shit. But when you hit the right motherfucker, somebody's paperwork getting ran. Can somebody, we're just going to read this page 1. I'm going to take y'all through a couple pages and we're done with this doc. It's a 60-page doc. I had already went over it in another class, but this page 1 lays it out pretty good. So can somebody read up here, maybe these first couple paragraphs, if you will? Oops, maybe a little too much. Is anyone really willing to read here?
I got it. All right, starting the first paragraph. QTAM. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Statutes enlist the public to sue to recover civil penalties and forfeitures from those who have defrauded the government. QTAM rewards those who sue in the government's name, called realtors, with a portion of the recovered proceeds, a creature of anti-equity.
Sure.
Can't even see that right, y'all. I got one eyeball. Once common, today QTAM lives on in federal law only in the False Claims Act and in Indian protection laws. The False Claims Act prescribes number 1, presenting a false claim, 2, making or using a false record or statement material to make a false claim, 3, possessing property or money of the U.S. and delivering less than all of it, 4, delivering a certified receipt with the intent to defraud the U.S., 5, buying public property from a federal officer or employee who may not lawfully sell it, 6, using a false record or statement material to an obligation to pay or transmit money or property to the U.S., or concealing or improperly avoiding or decreasing an obligation to pay or transmit money or property to the U.S., or 7, conspiring to commit any such offense. Offenders face the prospect of costs, expenses, attorney's fees, damages, and perhaps triple damages in a civil action brought either by the U.S. or by a relator in the name of the U.S. Additional liability that, relator in the name of U.S. Additionally, liability may flow from any retaliatory action taken against the False Claims Act whistleblower. The False Claims Act features a first-to-file bar that precludes copycat or piggyback relator suits and a public disclosure bar that precludes suits based on old news unless the relator is an original source.
All right.
Wow.
So let me go ahead and try to take it back a little bit. Now, an original source, an audit, a financial security audit is an original source. It's considered an original source. You go and pay for that shit. That's an original source under the false claims. I'm really actually aiming at mortgages right here because it's really securities fraud. Just outright, it's securities without that securitization report. With that securitization report, if you can prove that they are fucking around in, say, a government sponsored entities trust or pool of mortgages, if you can prove that your you know what I'm saying, your mortgage got sold to HUD, which most likely it did. All right. If you can prove your mortgage got sold to HUD, you can prove false claims. All right. You need your you need your financial report for that though. So let's not go into that too much. Otherwise, we'll get into that. So presenting a false claim, right, for payment, using a false record. That's what I was showing you about the 211. That's what I wanted to go back for. This HUD 27011 is the actual false record that they will be using regards to mortgages, regards to how you're going to prove it, right? You wouldn't necessarily need a record regarding them counting your kids, right? The record is right there in the CAFR, but you might want to get more of a personal record, right? Depending on how you want to handle that type shit. Because if they're counting your kids and your kids ain't there, somebody's filling something out. I don't know what the exact document is yet, but I just know they're getting funded by each head. Using a false record, possessing money or property of the U.S. and delivering less than all of it. I won't go through this too much. This document is everything you need. Let's go ahead and find it real quick online. I'm going to post it. This shit right here put you up on the False Claims Act. All right. But I'm about to show y'all. We're going to go ahead and just read through this. Let's finish reading through this first page real quick, and I'll post it. I'll look for the link real quick. If the government initiates the suit, others may not join. If the government has not brought suit, a relator may do so, but must give the government notice and afford it 60 days to decide whether to take over litigation. If the government declines to intervene, a prevailing relator's share of any recovery is capped at 30%. If the government intervenes, the cap is lower and depends upon the circumstances. So it's per false claim. Mind you, they just got constitutionally challenged for that shit. Now they can't charge more than 3 times what the government is owed. You know what I'm saying? But this is not for your harm. This is for harm caused to the government. Okay? So in all actuality, you could fuck around and open up the false claims under seal, which we're going to get into, and open a 42 on their ass, a 1983 on the public, for your harm, for the harm they caused you, right? And mind you, you got to, with the comprehension that we have, just be careful in the state talk, right? Oops. Oh, okay. Because 42s is 1983s is used for anybody in the jurisdiction of the United States. This statute right here is for anyone inside and outside the United States making false claims. Relators in Indian protection QTAM cases are entitled to half of the recovery. Anyone interested in that? Federal QTAM statutes have survived 2 types of constitutional challenges. Those based on defendants' rights in criminal cases and based on the doctrine of separation of powers. The courts have found the rights required in criminal cases inapplicable. I'm saying it again because QTAM actions are civil matters. They are generally rejected. They have generally rejected standing arguments because relators stand in the shoes of the United States in whose name QTAM actions are brought. They have rejected appointments clause arguments because relators hold no appointed office. That's important because it's under I think it's under appointments clause attack right now. Like, stop. All right. They have rejected the take care clause arguments because the residue of the governmental control over QTAM actions is considered constitutionally sufficient. All right. So let me go get on in here. Hold on. Let me pull this. Do y'all want me to pull this doc up? Y'all want me to post this doc?
Yep.
All right. Let me see. Is this it? Yeah, that is what we just read. Where's the text though? I mean, where's the PDF? Let me go back. This is the whole article. I could post this, but let me see if I can find the PDF so y'all could download it. Here, I don't like, hold up. I gotta make sure that's what that was. Because they got two different one of these. All right, this is it. One is the short version. All right. Damn, did I miss Tabby? Damn it. All right, here we go. Let me exit out of some of this shit. I think that's the problem right now. All right. Let's go slide to page 5 real quick. One. I'm just going to go through and show y'all a couple things because it's going to bring us into a couple other things, such as this. In regards to tax evasion, you already have the route or the process. I think McReal told y'all how to do this, which is why I never touched it. Tax evasion. That's a whole different can of worms on their ass. Form 211s and 3949As. All right, but I just wanted to show y'all this has its own little process. I'll bring up the forms in a minute. Let's go to page 10. This is bringing you through the amendments. Page 10 was specifically placed under the Fraud Enforcement and Recovery Act of 2009. All right. This is the Fraud Enforcement and Recovery Act of 2009. Let's see some of the first words we see in there. All right. Mortgage. It says to improve enforcement of mortgage fraud, securities, and commodities fraud, financial institution fraud, and other frauds related to federal assistance and relief programs for the recovery of funds lost to these frauds. Okay. That was a big ass case that was in what was that, 2008, that where they brought all them damn attorneys in there and showed, was it 2011 where we got the retained attorney network through HUD. See if it comes up. Huh. Is that it? This was some 2012 shit. This ain't it. This ain't it. Let me get out here. Anyway, it's probably about 100 attorneys, 100 attorney law firms, 100 law firms or less coming through you, to you. Here, let me see if I can try to find it. Because we had it back in the day, but it's not. I know I ain't got it in this computer. Fannie Mae retained attorneys. Fannie Mae retained attorneys. These people have been coming through you. Fannie Mae has been coming through you in the court. It's the attorney. That's going to be the link. It's going to be the link directly to damn HUD. Because he's playing like he's playing like he's acting for whatever LLC under most mortgages and shit. He's playing that he's acting for the LLC, but really he's retained by the government. Fannie Mae, Jeannie Mae. All right, that's when that shit came out. And that's why this was, if y'all remember, the housing bubble of 2008, right? This shit was brought in as a response to that. All right. So don't think we're going to go through this too much. Maybe just to show y'all. Authorization of additional funding to combat mortgage fraud, securities, and commodities fraud. Hold up, because somebody else got some money up here. We won't go. We won't go looking for that. Did I post this in the chat for y'all? Or no, I don't think I did. Let me see.
Somebody already posted it, Joe.
You know what? You got it? All right, my bad. Appreciate you. All right. Get into this. It's only 15 pages. Read this shit. It's going to show you it's going to drop a little game on you, right? Because some of y'all might have been in your mortgages and been reading and seen some of these terms. Troubled asset relief program. That was when the Fed came in and saved all the banks, and they gained the right to all the assets that the bank was holding, right? Because they went under conservatorship. That's what I'm saying. It's attorneys acting like they the government. And of course, when if we go back on the Fannie Mae Seekers case, is what that was. The attorneys tried to say HUD knew, HUD threw their ass under the bus. Authorization of additional funding to combat mortgage fraud, securities and commodities fraud, and other frauds involving federal economic assistance, which are fraud ass. All right. Is appropriated to the Attorney General. All right. Allocations, blah, blah, blah. This is appropriated to the Fed, FBI. The motherfucker's supposed to be investigating. I heard somebody a long time ago say, damn, the Feds was laughing at their ass. Like, damn. Maybe you didn't come from this angle. United States attorneys. Department of Justice. This is in 2009, y'all, but this is just showing y'all the appropriations for the Postal Inspection Service. Why would the Postal Inspection Service be there? Oh, wait, they're using the mail. This is just to show y'all who you're supposed to be dropping your reports to, your notices to in regards to mortgage fraud. Or what we might think is mortgage fraud, because really all you got to do is take that damn security report and put that in with the damn and say, hey, see attached. And, like, y'all know what this is. But that's in regards to mortgages. Department of HUD, Secret Service for real. Securities Exchange Commission. Yeah. I wonder why. All right. Clarifications of the False Claims Act. All right. Because what was happening was they was using the wording of the False Claims Act to get around false claims cases. And a lot of these cases were having to do with the housing bubble. Like, what? Hold on. Nah, all this money we walking away from on the table? Nah, we gonna fix this wording real quick. Okay? So that people can go get these mofos for mortgage fraud. So I won't get into that too much more. FIRA was specifically meant, or the False Claims Amendment of 2009 was part of FIRA, which was specifically meant for mortgage fraud. Let's go to, I'm going to go to page 42. Why am I going to 42? It's currently a constitutional challenge, I think. 42. Currently a constitutional challenge in Florida with they old little punk ass judge gonna try to say what they said about, is it the appointments clause? Gotta be. I just want to show y'all, because I'm gonna show y'all the, hold on, let me make sure I got that on here. Yeah. I'm gonna show y'all the argument that's being made. So let's get out of here. Or should we? Do y'all want to read the statute? Maybe we should. Because I remember one time, I remember back in the day, I was trying to get people on with this, and then the guy went to go do it, and his case got thrown out because he didn't put the case in right. That was before the class. All right. So 3729 knowingly presents or causes to be presented a false or fraudulent claim for payment or approval. If these people are saying your kids are in school and they hunting you down. The reason they hunt you down is probably because they still getting that damn funding. If you trying to take your kids out. Now, the only way you really going to use it if you ain't really trying to take your kids out, I mean, that information I use y'all on the funding is just to let them know who's in charge. But for people who's just, you know, who wants to like homeschool their kids and shit, like this is something you can be busting them over the head with because they probably still getting funding from the school. I mean, from the Board of Education. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep talking to you because that's where the enforcement is. That's where all of that shit is up under 6333 or 6330. One of those statutes lets you know that they getting paid to hunt your ass down and get your kids back in school. Knowingly makes, uses, or causes to be made use a false record or statement material to a false or fraudulent claim. Right? It's the piece of paper, y'all. Now, do you always have to have the piece of paper? No, the piece of paper is going to be the best. But if you can properly show the claim being made, if you can properly show where the claim was made, such as kids being counted in schools or the HUD 27011 being filled out by the servicing companies to go get money that they claim you owed in court, certain stuff like that. The paperwork, that's the paperwork, right? They're saying they pulling you over on the damn side of the road in the motor vehicle, right? I feel like that's the claim. I think that's the claim because they just bucked your ass in the court. We don't know if everyone is. I'm gonna tell you right now. Like I said, I meant to. We'll bring it back later, but it's a general fund. I don't think we need to bring it back. We went over it. Like I said, it's either federal grants or your taxes that they're using to kick your ass. So when they pulling you over the side of the road, if it's city cops, it's probably the general fund, your taxes being used for them to come and bully you on the side of the road. If it's the state highway patrol pulling you over, that's definitely fair funding involved. Okay. I'm not sure on the local police, even though we just seen 23 USC 402 conspires. All right. That goes hand in hand with A and B. You did anything. Conspires is like, it got to be more than one. Right. But anything under A and B is riding right with that. That's in, as you can see, the rest of the letters. All right.
So like the department or the Board of Education working with the OFCS or the OCFS, that'd be like conspiring.
I think so. When you say what Department of Education are you talking about? The state?
Well, the Board of Education.
Well, see, the Board of Education, if you're talking United States Board of Education, is that what you're saying? Or the state board or city board, county board? Be more specific for me, please.
Okay. Well, I mean, in New York, it's the Board of Education. So.
Right. So New York Board of Education?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. That's what it seems like. If you have already informed them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And let them know what's going on and they still acting like they don't know what's going on, you gotta kick it up. OIG. Gonna kick it up. False claims. Getting in for real with those with the way, like I said, with the way the schools working, they came to me, they was coming at me a whole, I think they left me alone for a minute. Then they came at me a whole another year later or some shit, talking about your kids are enrolled. Talking about enrollment. And we started getting calls again, but that was shut down immediately. We already told y'all what's up. Go talk to so-and-so. She don't want no, you feel me? And then that was the end of that. But it let me know that they must have been having my sons enrolled, you know what I'm saying, for that whole school year or the end of that school year. And they were planning on acting like they were enrolled again. You see what I'm saying? So somebody's getting money for that shit if they're enrolled, period.
Yeah.
The school is cashing in on that shit.
Yeah, but
That's
what
the-
I was asking was like in regards to like multiple agencies working together, that would be like
That's the
conspiracy.
conspiracy. That's the
Yeah.
conspiracy. My bad. That's the conspiracy. When you even when you talking to one or two agents of the same damn, you know what I'm saying? Of the
Right.
same
Department,
agency.
agency, yeah.
That's conspiracy. All right. So has possession, custody, or control of property or money used or to be used by the government, and knowingly delivers or causes to be delivered less than all of that money or property. Because I don't really know if they are taking your house in the neighborhood or if they doing some little sneaky shit. We wouldn't know until we went and got them reports or asked HUD. Because HUD came back to tell me they didn't know what the fuck was going on. Is authorized to make or deliver a document certifying receipt of property used or to be used by the government and intending to defraud the government, makes or delivers the receipt without completely knowing that the information on the receipt is true. Receipt of property. Knowingly buys or receives as a pledge of an obligation or debt public property from an officer or employee of the government or a member of the armed forces who lawfully may not sell or pledge property. Knowingly makes, uses, or causes to be made a false record or statement material to an obligation to pay or transmit money or property to the government, or knowingly conceals or knowingly and improperly avoids or decreases an obligation. Okay, that's a reverse false claim, which is not being clear, not saying what's going on. So under I was dealing with this, I started busting these damn attorneys over the head because they sold the house that I was trying to claim mid litigation to HUD. And I'm like, well, hold on. Because how in the hell is they selling the house or conveying the house to HUD and there's a lawsuit? It's literally a Liz Pendez. One of the prerequisites to filling out that 27011 with HUD is to be selling good marketable title to the secretary. How is it good marketable title? And I got a Liz Pendez in the court right now. Oh man, y'all should see some of the shit these people. They changed their name and everything. I think twice since I started messing with them. Like what? They dissolved the company and all kinds of shit. I'm like, wait, hold on, where you going? All right. So false claim, reverse. This number is not right. Reverse false claims is under G. Really, we should probably be focused on A, B, probably C. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure y'all could probably find where others might fit in, but it seemed like a lot of the shit that they doing could fit under A. All right. So the damages they say right here 5 to 10,000, but it's actually about 15. Let's see what the all right. Plus a penalty of at least 13,000 and up to $27,000 per claim. Now, mind you, they just I'm gonna take you into that. That shit got capped, y'all. It just got capped. Mind you, when I had that last class out, it wasn't capped. They just capped it, bro. I'm like, damn, man, we supposed to be getting their ass. All right. Let me see. Reduce damages. If the court finds the person committing the violation of this section furnishes basically cooperation, you pay a little less, right? 2 times instead of 3 times. right, so they took the per claim thing off. They might have took the per claim thing off, and now it's 3 times the amount which the government sustains, the amount of damages, because they found that shit because somebody was getting busted over their head. And they was like, oh, hell no. And they was like, 8th Amendment. And they succeeded. That was in, I'll show you in a minute. Reduced damages, cost of civil actions. A person violating this section shall be liable to the United States government for the cost of civil action brought to recover any such penalty of damages. Definitions: knowingly. Knowingly means that the person with respect to information has actual knowledge of the information, acts in deliberate ignorance of the truth or falsity of the information, or acts in reckless disregard to the truth or falsity of the information, and require no specific intent to defraud. Knowingly, that means I told you, I notified you, and you still kept going. Now you're reckless. All right. A claim means any request or demand, whether under contract or otherwise, grants, for money or property, and whether or not the United States has title to the money or property that is presented to an officer, employee, or agent of the United States. This is why I showed y'all through the CAFRs the straight line to the Fed. All right, because these people are making claims to the United States, or officers of, and they had to change the language a little bit because people was getting around this. Is made to a contractor, grantee, or other recipient, right? So a contractor, grantee, if the money or property is to be spent or used, and that's like a GSE. It was seen, because the GSE is not considered the government until we get in statutes like this. Government-sponsored entities are not the government until we get into statutes like this. Is made to a contractor, grantee, or other recipient if the money or property is used on the United States' behalf, on the government's behalf, or to advance a government program or interest, and if the United States government provides or has provided any portion of the money or property requested or demanded. Right? They are providing the money to the schools. They are providing the insurance on mortgages. They are providing money for the streets. They're providing money for the cops' guns. You know, if they out here using them guns to, I don't know, be pirates, act as pirates and shit, I don't think that was under the intentions of Edward Byrne. Piracy. Will reimburse such contractor, grantee for any portion of the money. All right. So they got paid, or they're about to get paid. All right. Claim does not include requests or demands for money or property that the government has paid to an individual as compensation for federal employment, or as an income subsidy with no restriction on that individual's use of the money or property. Obligation means an established duty, whether or not fixed, arising from an express or implied contractual grantor, grantee, or licensee relationship, from a fee-based or similar relationship, from statute or regulation, or from the retention of any overpayment. Let me see. It means an established duty. They have an established duty when they accept those funds. Period. It's right there in the beginning. This is, for the purposes of this fund is this, right? They're coming in, they're walking in the door with established duty under those under that funding. The term material means having a natural tendency to influence or capable of influencing the payment or receipt of money or property. Well, if these motherfuckers are saying that my kids is in school and they ain't in school, don't you think that might have a tendency to influence some payments?